but I'm also excited to follow the storylines of our 8 basically completely new qualifiers participants today, going up against some of the best ranked players we've ever seen qualifying directly through the top 8 to our bracket. And I mean, match after match today is just like, I don't want to say that it's upset territory throughout the whole day, because obviously our qualifiers players did have to beat 70 other players to get here.
Yep.
But I think if you're just looking at elo and performance on the ranked ladder and any percent PBs, there's a gap between the top 8 bracket participants who have auto qualified through their elo and the 8 qualifier players. I mean, there's a gap in that, and also just a gap in both experience in the ranked playoffs as well. Like, a lot of these bracket participants, these top 8 participants, have played in all 3 playoffs. This is going to be their 3rd one, so they have experience with the pick ban system, with the nerves, with the situation, right? I mean, it's definitely different. Like, you can't just forfeit and then queue another game. If you lose, you have to wait sometimes 10 to 15 minutes for us to do the analysis segment, for the ref to get the other seed, for us to talk about stuff in the sponsor segment. Like, it's a way different environment. And when you've lost a seed like that, you're just sitting there thinking like, oh my God, I made one mistake. I'm down 1-0. And I can't play the other seed because they're doing stuff on the main stream, and you can't just like instant queue again and play somebody else. You're playing the same person. So there's, I think, a clear advantage in almost all of these matches to the higher seeded player, but at the same time, anything can happen. It's only a best of 3. If someone shows up, they play better Minecraft the day of, I mean, we could see anybody win any of these matches.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's sort of obvious that the top half of the seeds are going to have an advantage. But I think for me, the interesting thing is the odds of, okay, so let's say we put just on average, I mean, I don't know if this is accurate, but let's just throw a number on it. Say like 90% there's a chance for each individual higher seeded player to beat the lower seeded player, right? If we're going to give it that even that clear of an advantage, 90%, meaning like if they were to play, 9 or 10 games, they'd win 9 of them. I don't even know if I'd necessarily say that for
that
an
high
individual,
but
let's just go with that, right? You run that 8 games, and there's only a 43% chance that the higher seeded player wins every single time, right? And the idea that one player moves on is cool to me. And like, I think there's a very, like I said, with that, even with those odds, there's still like a good chance that we see, in my opinion, so I again, the 90% number might not be perfect. This model is obviously just sort of a way of looking at it, but I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting, and I'm me, I like to see new people, and so for me, there's a little bit of a excitement to the idea that maybe, just maybe, someone will move on.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. This season, guys, we don't have a sponsor because big money hates us. But we do have a prize pool. It's going to mirror the season 1 prize pool of 2.5 thousand United States dollars. 60% to first, 30% to second, 10% to third. So the runners are still playing for something not as good as season 2, but it's sort of like, I don't know. You could look at it like the market is in a little bit of a recession. We're preparing for the $50,000 sponsor for season 4 or something.
Yeah, no, it's
surely.
Surely. Yeah, no, I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it, man.
But yes, the runners will be playing for something. I mean, not only the money, but also the pride of winning, the trophy on your ranked player profile to decorate your little trophy achievement case, advancement case.
I mean, let's look at it like this, okay? At the end of the day, you could win, let's say you win $50,000. That's something you could get any day of the week. But this ranked little thing that you get on your profile, you're the only one to get it, and you can never get it again. The exact same one. You just can't. It's permanent. It's permanent. And,
it is unique.
Any sum of money doesn't make up for that. You know what I mean? So
you could say,
that's the real motivation.
It might be like what we'd call an NFT nerdy. What do you think? And
Oh no! Oh
the world
no!
goes crazy
Oh
for those, no?
no! Oh no!
Dude, I saw an NFT thing on my Twitter feed for the first time in maybe like a year the other day. I'm not even kidding. Like I some sort of like promoted thing. It was like chess related too, which was just the weirdest thing. It was the first time I forgot they existed. I genuinely forgot like the whole NFT thing was a thing at all. And then I just saw some promoted thing and I was like, "Oh my god, there's NFTs linked to this dumb chess thing." This guy's
Yeah.
getting paid to promote it. Like they're doing that in 2024. Like
Yeah.
all that money is supposed
Yeah.
to be gone. Like everyone's supposed to have lost everything and
Yeah.
they were still going.
I don't know. It's kind of it's goofy, man. It's goofy.
So what we're basically saying is ranked will not be joining the NFT model. So if you are a
Yes.
MCSR NFT believer, unfortunately, we're gonna have to let you down there. But we will be getting into our first match of the day in just a couple minutes. We've been told apparently Priffin is in a ranked game currently. So I mean, the practice that these runners are going to, pretty good. I mean, if this were me playing in the first match, I would barely be awake. So, gotta give it up to Priffin there for getting those mechanics warmed up in probably the most applicable way possible. Fighting it out on the
Hey,
ranked
listen.
ladder.
You know, I mean, you could argue that, or you could argue that this ranked playoffs is just going to be warm up for his ranked session later. You know, that's another way of
Okay.
looking at it.
Yeah.
Right? You know.
Pushing the bounds of the Elo system and using the playoffs as the highest stake environment to practice.
Right. Yeah.
Could see that. Could see that. Chat, today I've been told we have 4 interviews, nothing for this match yet, but we do have 4 unique player interviews for you guys. I have no idea. I mean, I didn't watch them all last season. But yeah, the big boss has actually reminded me that it's been so long since we've done the playoffs, and it's also way too early in the morning that we can throw it over to our player spotlights. No, do you remember these?
Oh
People
yeah.
happy?
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to do some analysis here on some of these numbers. Of course, as always. Also got some notes here. And I've been doing some research, Feinberg. I've been doing some research, learning about all these different runners. So I'm excited. I think this is some of the most excited I've ever been actually about the playoffs, just because ready to talk. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, here's your opportunity. What do you think about Priffin? What do you think about the stats? What do you think about the research? What do you think?
Yeah. So I mean, these stats are very good. Ranked average time 12:24 is solid. The ranked best time, you know, again, I'm not sure how important that is at the end of the day. I mean, I think it's a good sign, but I'm not sure. You know, there's some level of luck involved with that as an outlier variable. We've also got they've played 66% win rate against this opponent, but yeah, overall, very high win-loss ratio there in Season 2. It seems to me, from what I could tell, that, Priffin is going to be an interesting player to watch. I know Priffin is big into a lot of the newest strategies, very up-to-date kind of player with new tech. And I'm really excited to see certain strategies come out in this. I guess I won't spoil them, but there's some cool like end strategies that have been developed. There's some cool overlaps that have been developed for the portal animation and such that I'm really excited to watch in today's game. And I think Priffin is going to be someone that definitely keep an eye on as far as like new strategies, new tech. And just, he plays a lot. He's a grinder. So I think he's going to be a good player to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like you said, I think Priffin just is super up to date on a lot of the new stuff that is coming out, making a little bit of strategies himself that are sort of innovating the sort of end game meta that we're kind of approaching, where most things are pretty sorted and you're just trying to figure out, seconds here and there. And like you said, these accomplishments as well, like Season 2 played over almost 750 games. Like that's a lot of ranked matches. There's people that have not played 750 total over the last 3-4 seasons. So
yep.
I'm looking forward. Let's see what Papler's stats have to bring to the table. Okay, similar amount of games, but if you look, I mean, the average time, Nerdy, 1 minute 20 slower. Best ranked time is close. RSGPB is 2.5 minutes slower. Win percentage is barely positive. 3 games only positive. I mean, you win the right games, that's enough to get you in the top 100. And I mean, you won the right seeds to get them into the finals, or the bracket, I should say. But
Yeah, I mean, like you
looking
said,
at the stats, I don't know.
I think it's pretty fair to say, like you said, that there's a good chance that Priffin takes the dub here on this match overall. But you know, it's about, you know, can Priffin perform with these stakes at hand? You know, that's going to be important because at the end of the day, the stats only show so much. You know, we don't know how much sleep these runners got. There's a lot of variables that we just have no idea, right? How
100%.
nervous they are. I will say with Paplerr, you know, maybe not the best ranked season stats compared to some of these other players, but got to the playoffs, right? Performed when needed to. So you never know. Like, I mean, I guess I don't want to count any player out is what I'm trying to say. But I am excited. I think it's gonna be cool to watch these players, you know, battle it out. And yeah, while Priffin might have the edge, you never know.
Yeah, 100%. And there we go. Looking at the seed pick bands, nerdy. These are always fun as well. Guys, if you're new to our ranked playoffs, there are 5 different seed types for our ranked players to experience on the ladder. The 2 most common at higher elo, I mean, what people are used to the most, Buried Treasure and Shipwreck. But then on your screen now are actually the other 3 seed types that are possible to be played. Again, these only change what you experience in the overworld, but depending on, you know, the resources that you get out of the overworld, it can make your nether play and your decision making very, very different. So it's definitely a decision that, you know, only directly affects, you know, the first minute, 2 minutes of your run. And again, like, no impact on the nether at all. The filter is the same regardless of your overworld seed selection there on the end, but it's just everything can sort of snowball. Less food, less blocks, more blocks, different types of food, stuff like that. And these pick bands are interesting, nerdy, to say the least, I think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we see a village ban, we see a rune portal ban. I mean, you know, to some extent, a lot of times I do think we overanalyze these a little bit, you know, because at the end of the day, there's really quick picks, right? So like, there's not too much
Yeah.
thought necessarily that goes into it. But for me, what I see here is that the bans on either side seem a little bit sort of opposite. Village is kind of the slow, safe, you know, very consistent kind of thing. Whereas RP is like a very, very quick and, you know, less resource intensive type of structure. So Artie may be seeing a little bit different. Maybe, and Priffin maybe wanting to play the less linear, the more decision making type seeds, whereas Paplerr maybe wants to simplify the battlefield, so to speak, by getting rid of those. So I think this first seed, by picking the Desert Temple, is kind of showcasing that Priffin is, you know, again, willing to do the more alinear seeds, right? The seeds that have more decision making. And I think that this could be a disadvantage for Paplerr.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought that Priffin would pick Temple. I know he's very confident in Shipwreck and Buried Treasure seeds, and then, you know, the third one's sort of a toss-up, but mechanical player like him, I would think that Room Portal would be the pick. Like, I would swap the Temple and the Room Portal pick, like, in my head if I had to sort of guess these.
Yeah,
But
yeah. No, for sure.
I could
Yeah.
see it as well, right? Like, a lot of decisions, you can definitely save like a minute worth of gameplay on someone on a Desert Temple overworld, and with a Room Portal overworld, that's just not possible. Most of the
Right.
time, you're entering within 5 to 10 seconds, and there is just 0 decisions that you have to make. So it creates a lot of variance. Priffin, I guess, just hopes he's going to come out on top of that variance, and he very well might. I mean, is the higher seeded player, had the better stats, but I mean, I think we're ready to throw it into the game in the next couple of seconds, and we'll just have to see if he can back up the gameplay. Or back up the pick with the gameplay, whatever.
We know what you meant. We know what you meant.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
There we are.
Look at this season 2 elo difference as well. And Priffin only being the 5 seed. This is a 500 elo gap almost.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the elo difference will certainly lead to some interesting things. But I want to say one thing that I think is worth mentioning is look just how many games both players have played. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
almost over 700 for both.
over 700 for
I mean,
both.
that's just ridiculous. I mean, that is just that is ridiculous. I mean,
And so
that
what is
so
it?
many
It's like a
matches.
3-month season. So let's say that's like it's like 8 games a day.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
you put it like that, it's only a couple hours, but just every day consistently, like you miss one day, you gotta play double the next or something, right? Like it is
Yeah.
just a lot of games.
Yeah.
Especially too, like maybe one day you play 3 or 4, you lose 3 in a row, you're like, I'm not playing another, like, and then you're done for the day, and then like you gotta play more the next day to sort of even it out. But
yeah.
exactly, 21
I mean,
gunpowder. This is nice. Sorry.
no, that Feinberg. It's okay. We all know you're AA. You can't help
I'm
yourself.
just shocked that we're playing a Temple, seed 1 of our bracket. I'm very
Yeah.
shocked. So we're sort of embracing it. But even now, like, oh my god, look at the iron as well. 10 iron, so we're going to have an axe and a pickaxe here. Now it's about finding your lava pool, which is just in the savannah for both these players. Finding your water source to get back to this lava pool, and then finding some potential extra food. This is not an ideal situation. 20 or 31 flesh only. Not going to be what you want.
Look at this immediately. We already have difference in the way that they played it. One player going for the iron axe, whereas one player going for Paplerr, on the other hand, going for the iron shovel. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't
this
know.
is
What do you
just
think about that, Feinberg? What do you think about the
using-
difference in the choice there? Which do you like more?
You know, with the fact that you have already done the gravel TNT play, I just don't see the iron shovel at all. The only reason that you would make an iron shovel here is you're saving iron for a shield. But that's just, you never want to play for it first anyways. And so it's a little thing. Like the Stoneworth Iron Axe really isn't going to matter too much. But that's a little bit of a decision. And then also Paplerr going back to the river for the water instead of finding one of these little mini lakes that Priffin found. There's at least 2 that I saw. I don't know, just small things here, but they are building their portal at the same time. I think Priffin does have more food. I saw a cow take a death on his screen. And I know Paplerr only has 1 salmon and 1 chicken potentially. So, I mean, you really shouldn't fully run out of food on the seed. The 31 flesh will go kind of far, but how far will it go? And more importantly, how fast will it heal you if you need to throw some pearls, get hit by a wither skelly or a rogue skelly? Like, it's just not the best food source. And so Priffin, even like having 2 or 3 steak here could save in exorbitant amount of time playing this seed.
And it looks like Paplerr just used the rest of his chicken there, unfortunately.
Yeah, the only one that he got.
Yeah, we got some.
Oh, 6 steak? Yeah, that's, I mean, it could literally be a full minute of time save just food wise. Especially if Papler's gonna have to hunger reset before getting to the stronghold or in the stronghold or both. Like, I did not realize he had 6. So I mean, the enter speed was the same, but the quality is just much different, and it's just better food overworld routing from Priffin, giving him the early edge on this seed for sure, I would say.
And we can see 2 different routes coming out immediately. Paplerr going for the top down, whereas Priffin doing the sort of manhunt plus backups. So, I mean, we're already seeing differences here. I think that means that Priffin's going to get way more pigs, though he is trading a little bit later.
Honestly, probably going to even it out. Because Paplerr trades first, and it is only 12 gold blocks. I think they're going to be done with these trades at about the same time. But I really do think that this food situation for Priffin is just so good that I don't see how Paplerr is going to have to make this time back. Just trying to think about what I was saying there. Looks like they're going to have to hit the top chests for Obby, though. I don't think Priffin got any. Oh, he has 17, actually. But Papler's got 11. Wonder if that's all from trades or any from the middle sort of area. middle housing chest. Maybe Priffin got some from that manhunt route. Still has 17. Maybe both runners have to go up here. But again, the home portal was on the fort. So not a huge deal if you have the home portal. It was a surface lava pool. Basically the best possible situation for a potential home portal. But there we go. Priffin has the food here to just pearl up to the top of housing. Nice play. It is faster. Has the pearls as well. So like the thought there. And Paplerr did the same thing as well. But again, has low food. So gonna like just hurt a little bit more from taking that damage. Is there Obby anywhere at the top? Last chest there is. Priffin's out just a little earlier, and I mean, he's just able to throw pearls faster here, getting to the fort. Paplerr, I mean, it's close enough to where they can throw about the same, but he's going to be in this fort with more health, going to be healing out faster as well. So yeah, again, I think Priffin has a great advantage here from the food situation. 1 heart for Paplerr. I mean, just any random stray and you're instantly dead. Trying to drop down with gravel here to not take fall damage. Pretty smart play. Gets a couple strays, but Priffin just trying to play the spawner. Stray versus spawner game here. I like Priffin's situation a little bit more.
Like you said, it just really comes down to that food situation. I mean, just I feel like there's so much hesitation on Papler's screen, which I can't even blame necessarily, just because of the food and the the low HP and the lack of being able to pearl and all that stuff. Whereas, Priffin is able to be more aggressive, to use that food and to make up time because of it.
Yeah, I mean, this is really smart play, saving fall damage with the gravel. I just would not have to think, to do that. But yeah. I mean, Priffin's able to chug this rotten flush here and still has 2 extra stakes. So, pearling to cords or pearling for 0, you're going to be able to get that fast healing off. And Papler's fine on food, 25 flesh. That's a lot. But it's just so slow. Like, he probably won't even fully heal up before building his first portal. And if we take any hit from these blazes, I mean, even the half hour potentially from the TNT, look, he's got to run so far back. It's just a messy situation, but I like the donut TNT there as well, clearing out almost everything. Actually, probably useful because it's a basalt enclosed spawner. Useful to use the 4 TNT instead of the 2. But watching Priffin build his first portal and using some tech that I'm pretty sure he discovered and started to use, placing the boat in the portal animation, overlapping, getting your boat eye angle with the 4-second portal anim. It's just a clean time save. Probably 5 to 10 seconds, and like Papler's got to place his boat on top. It really isn't much, but it will add up.
So fast. Like, it's crazy how fast that was. Like, I'm sorry, but this I love this tech so much. I think it's so cool. When I saw this while I was looking into the new strats, I just think that's fantastic. I mean, it's just so fast now. This split is insane. It's like that used to be like a full minute back in the day when you had to do 2 eyes, jump 5 blocks to the right, you know what I mean? Or jump 5 jumps to the right or whatever. And now it's just like in, out, going to the next thing. I think it's so cool. I'm sorry. I think it's just so cool. It's so fast, and I love to see the new tech.
And look, yeah, Paplerr has to throw a second eye. I think got unlucky on the boat offset potentially, but that's going to give Priffin even more of a lead on this seed. Especially because Paplerr didn't go and grab that second eye. Not sure if it broke or just didn't want to grab it, but he's either going to have to leave on 11 here or lose even more time. And again, you do get to see your opponent's advancements, so there is going to be pressure. I mean, Priffin did blind first, and there's going to be even more pressure from seeing this stronghold enter advancement as he just starts heading to cords. Priffin's seed to lose.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a spike in the bottom left. Nice little potential Pharaoh's Law stronghold, but see a little bit of a potential mine shaft as well. So could get a bit interesting here. And it looks like this bottom left was not the move. I think we have some audio there. I really can't read those subtitles. I couldn't tell you what language this is even. Potentially Frangian, but looks like we have a silverfish pickup on the subtitles. Just gonna have to figure out where it is. I've been told it's Canadian French. And Paplerr is playing on Dutch, I think.
Okay.
Danish, maybe?
Yeah.
And Paplerr misses the stronghold. I mean, could we be in a worse situation? How far is the miss? Is it going to matter? Priffin's got 8 explosives for the 0. Crafting
Oh,
iron
going for
bars
ground
for
zero.
ground 0 prep as well. I mean, wow. Knows he has the time. Paplerr not even in the stronghold yet. Definitely like the play. And do we still have stake here for the 0 attempt? No. And we hunger reset. So I guess it did matter. Front 1 and 8. Should be textbook.
Oh,
my God.
no. Oh, wait.
Big internet.
Okay.
It'll come back. Build suspense. It'll come back.
This is a new strat called buffer delay. It works really well. Oh,
It's going to refresh on the 0 and the dragon's just going to be dead.
and
It'll come back.
This is another new strat called.
Like I said.
Okay, that's pretty sus, man. Okay, buddy. Okay, man. Okay, man. Sure.
Like I said.
Okay, man. Sure.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. Paplerr avoids the death in the stronghold, but the game is already over, and he's dead. Into a silverfish. Never
This
mind.
is the new tech, guys. I swear. That's the new dragon tech I was talking about, man.
That was it. I mean, honestly, looking at these splits, it doesn't, I think, paint the best picture. I mean, Priffin just being ahead everywhere, but only 5 seconds ahead on the Nether Enter just doesn't take into account the 6 stake differential.
I think the 6 stake differential is right. We see that right there in that found stronghold split, right?
Minute 30. Yeah, I mean, Paplerr did miss the stronghold. That was probably a good 30, 35 seconds. But I mean, it is the stake. It is Priffin, you know, getting that singular boat eye throw as fast as possible. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just the overworld play, and then Priffin just nailing the consistency in every part of that seed.
Yeah, Priffin played that seed.
The seed 1 win.
Just very fast and consistent play from Priffin. I feel like there's very little critique to even have of Priffin's play. I think the question is, you know, if you're Paplerr here, what do you take away from that first match? I mean, it's nerve-wracking, right? Because not only are you, you know, making a few mistakes here and there, you know, missing the stronghold, right? But also you're just losing on time in general, right? Like you're just losing time. And now that doesn't mean, of course, that, you know, he's out, right? There's 2 more matches to be played, hopefully, for you. But at the same time, I will say, like, that is kind of confirming what the expectations that I was having for this first match here, you know.
Agree. And I mean, we have either a shipwreck or a buried treasure seed to play next. Again, this pick basically doesn't really matter because if you're Paplerr, you have to win both seeds anyways. But maybe it helps with the motivation a little bit, the momentum. If you're picking a seed that you think you can win a little better, gets that momentum in. Nerdy smiling at chat. Some things never change.
Some funny stuff, man. Some funny stuff. That's not. I can't help myself. I can't help myself reading chat and then smiling. It's impossible. Okay, all right. That's you're never gonna get like a level of professionalism from me where I don't read chat and smile at it. If that's what you're expecting, you know, you're gonna have to find someone else. Okay.
That's okay. I'm not expecting it, so that's okay. Don't mind.
But yeah, I'm excited. This is. First match went really well. I was super impressed by Priffin's play throughout that match. And,
yeah,
I'm excited.
Dude, I think you tripled the volume level when you saw the clean post blind split.
I just think it's so cool. I don't know. There's something. I think it's because like I've been kind of, you know, there's something about like I don't know. There's something about that split that always felt like slow to me, and now I just feel like it's finally optimized. I feel like I don't see how it can get any faster. Just throw one eye, and you're good.
Yeah, I could see that, especially like knowing what we've evolved from, like you said, like 2 eyes. I mean, pre-calc stuff, things like that. But
yeah,
I've been told just now from Big Boss that we are ready to throw it into our loved, tried and true Fulham analysis segment to see what he has to say about Priffin and Paplerr's gameplay before we get into Seed 2.
Are we good? I think we're good. Hey guys, as is expected with a little bit of scuff, at the start, everything was going absolutely fine, and then I found out a lot of audio issues were going on my end. But if you don't know what this segment is, if you have just started to watch the Season 3 Ranked Playoffs, there's a little analyst segment after every first seed of each best of 3. So we're going to go through and discuss exactly kind of what happened, maybe a few things that you missed, including the zero cycle that Priffin magically hit without anyone else seeing. I think that there might be a new fraud video out very soon because Priffin is a cheater and it didn't actually exist. No, I'm joking, but we're going to go through the start of this run, and something that was very important that the commentators did pick up on eventually was the real food difference. You can really see on Paplerr's side here, only grabbing this one salmon, whereas Priffin is able to kill all 4 of these cows that were nearby, getting a substantial amount of food. Really, really smooth direction and a ability to be able to do this, using the lava bucket really well, versus Paplerr kind of running around for a little while and only grabbing this one chicken and that one salmon. This really came back to bite later on in the seed, so it is not quite ideal if you are Paplerr. It's definitely something that is less than ideal. Paplerr decided to ban Village as well, which I thought was quite interesting given the fact that it seems that they struggled a tiny bit with less food, and maybe it would have been better if they had slightly more food. We can see here that Priffin also went for a really awesome manhunt and backup route, which is quite popular in Ranked, where you're able to get all of the backup blocks. It probably isn't quite as popular in RSG in general, but it does allow you to get a hell of a lot of pigs while getting the manhunt pigs as well as the kind of some of the top-down pigs. You can see that happening right here where the pigs are falling down from above, and in just a second we're going to see that he looks down into this complete barrage of pigs, also going onto hard mode as well. And you can see just a ton of pigs. It allowed him to leave this bastion super early because he had so many piglins ready to trade with. We also saw the donut TNT. No ket container was used, which is quite sad, but a really, really smooth way of being able to blow up all of the surrounding spawner. Looking at all of the basalt and stuff around. I know that the commentators picked up on this as well, but obviously it is a higher blast resistance block, so using more TNT, easy to clear that out. And again, this is where the food situation really came into play, where Priffin was able to pearl to coordinates super fast, super easy, super smoothly. We can see there he was able to just pearl straight down here, not have to worry about food, but also have enough that he was able to throw enough pearls, get to the location in a lightning fast time, as well as have enough food to zero cycle. So this was a caged 1 in 8 front dragon zero cycle. Looked like Priffin went to 91. And wait, no, does go to 95. Sorry, I this is the first time I've seen this zero as well, because I was a little bit surprised. Because the main stream cut out, I wasn't watching. I had to go and grab this clip elsewhere. We see 3 explosives. First 3 explosives weren't amazing damage. Next explosives really good, but we've also got a bunch of anchors. Tons and tons of explosives. Not the best damage there, but good to boost the dragon's height and run straight back to make sure that the dragon doesn't collide with hitboxes. Something that's quite common in 1 in 8 dragons. Also, that boat broke as he boated down, but zero cycle, very smooth, very classic. And if you are in Paplerr's shoes here, I do think that you're going to be worried going into the next seed. I don't know what the pick ban situation is going to be like. We're going to find that out very soon. However, if you're Paplerr here, I would really be hoping, I think, for something with a little bit more food. Whether that be a buried treasure, I think would probably be what I'd lean towards rather than a shipwreck. Also, Paplerr is probably a lot more strong with the buried treasure style seeds, given they're so common, they're so frequent at such a high level. in the higher elo in ranked. But yeah, I think that's most of the analysis for this seed. Priffin played this really clean, very, very few mistakes throughout the run, and a really, really fast time as well, better than their ranked average, able to take this one down. Can Paplerr bring back this best of 3? They would need 2 back-to-back wins for that to occur. Are we going to see that? You're going to find out very soon. We are going to throw this back to our commentators.
Well, as always, W analysis segment from our boy Fulham. And I think the runners are ready to get into it. I think we're ready to look at the seed selection, Nerdy. Is it going to be a BT or a Shipwreck seed for seed 2? Fulham said BT. It is BT. I see the line, you're playing with more food. There's sort of less variance, right? Like, as long as you're finding the spike and as long as you're not like totally missing the enter, I think it's probably the second least variance overworld potentially. Like, mainly just because it's what people do all the time, right? Like, room portals obviously I think just have the least amount of variance, but BT, everybody does it. You're so practiced, and I think it's going to be good for Paplerr, but also good for Priffin. I think we're going to be able to see the mechanical difference potentially shine here. Maybe not, though. Like, it's going to be up to Paplerr to try to keep that pace. Like you said, if you're watching back seed 1, trying to think what you can do differently for seed 2, and there's just, the time loss that you are just slower, like, how do you deal with that? Especially on a cookie cutter overworld that we're probably going to see in just a few seconds.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this one. Yeah, like you said, BT, pretty consistent type of seed. I think it's going to be a good one. Personally, I still give a pretty heavy, I don't think this really gives much edge to Paplerr. But at the end of the day, you never know. And yeah, we could see the reverse sweep. It's always possible.
Fully agree. And I think we're ready to get right into it. CR seed 2. Can Paplerr force a seed 3 in this best of 3, first best of 3 of our ranked playoffs? Round of 16, season 3 matches today. And there's the BT again. Priffin just 1 or 2 seconds ahead, if that even, but nice BT 5 salmon. Not amazing, not terrible. Gonna have some shears play coming out, some gold shovel play coming out, and it's just gonna be, can you find this enter in our little bit of a frozen ocean situation here? Looks like there's just nice kelp on Papler's screen. Was a little worried why I wasn't there on Priffin's screen, but looks like he does play on 50 entity distance for that. Dude, that like broke my tongue. I just said like entity, but made it sound worse. Entity distance. There we go.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think one thing I want to really highlight here, and this is not super important early game, but I think it's something that we should really pay attention to as we move on, is the players' hotbars. Because obviously, hotbar management has always been a thing, but it's really been getting optimized recently. And I've been very impressed by some of the tech that's come out with the hotbar management. And so I think like keeping an eye on a runner's ability to keep that in, to really utilize every single slot in the hotbar is going to be interesting to see how the two hotbars differ, to see where people put various things on their hotbar. I think is a really important way to measure how organized these runners are. And so, I'm immediately seeing differences in the way that these players are not only playing the seed, but organizing their hotbars. And I think that, paying attention to that early game is, not a huge deal, but towards the middle and end game of these seeds, I think is really important to pay attention to with zero and all that stuff.
100%. Looking at these overworlds too, they both went the same way for a majority of this overworld, but when faced with some fake kelp, Priffin pushed forward and found a real ravine, whereas Paplerr sort of turned around and went backwards. And this is 20-25 seconds in the overworld here that might honestly just be too much time for Paplerr to bring it back. Especially like not only is it the 25 seconds and you just then have to play 25 seconds faster than Priffin, you also have to deal with the mental of like, you're entering this nether and you're like, oh my god, I'm slower, I messed it up, and then like they get the Bastion advancement right now and you're like, oh my god, now like I'm pressured to get into the Bastion faster. Like there's where maybe I could have saved time, like a split is now gone. And then you're gonna do this Bastion route and then Priffin's gonna get in the fort first, and like it just doesn't mentally work in your favor to be slower. Like it almost compounds the mistake on itself, for lack of explaining that better. And Paplerr's just got to fight through that, play his game. Maybe hope Priffin messes up. Maybe just play 25 seconds faster. Looks like he found a little bit better terrain to this chalice, though, potentially. Being able to use the height here. Maybe not, though. No, we're on the backside of the bridge anyways, so it looks like it doesn't really matter that he had some height terrain here. And Priffin already starting a right side triple chest route. Do you like the way that we call this right side, Nerdy? You know, like, is it the right, you know, looking from the chalice?
No, not that question. Oh no, the biggest MCSR debate of all time. I mean,
like, is the triple that Paplerr is going to be heading to the right side bridge triple or the left side bridge triple? Is it from the POV of the chalice or from the POV of the other side of the Bastion? I do think there's one right answer.
I think I'm okay with it the way it works, but I do find it very odd. Like it just feels very weird, because it really does to me feel like, because it's because the front of the Bastion is like the side that doesn't have the chalice, right? Is that right?
Actually, no. I think you like see the pig face from the chalice. But I think the problem is the chests are just like the wrong way. Like this feels like the left when you're standing in it because the chests are facing you, and then the other the other rampart is to the right. I think is the problem. But I think the pig face is visible from the chalice, and you start the route from the chalice. I think it's correct that it's called right, but anyways, trying to fill some dead air as we're just watching. Just watching the runners do the Bastion routes. Really not much to talk about. Paplerr taking a little bit more damage, so he's going to be a little bit lower on salmon. Priffin's got 4, Paplerr has 3. Priffin's 1 salmon up and has a little bit of a health advantage as well. So I think Paplerr lava bucketed himself or took a fire tick in the portal. But I mean, look at this. I'm actually confused as to how Paplerr is actually in the fort first and has the RD lowered already. I mean, look at the stray difference. Like Priffin has 1 stray and Paplerr's got 20. Granted, Wither Skeleton Nation. Yeah. But like crazy. People in chat saying that he is actually overlapping trades. It does not have 20 obsidian. I mean, honestly, this could get interesting too if we're going to be building our first portal at the Bastion for Paplerr versus at the fort for Priffin. Could be different strongholds, different terrain. But I like that play of, you know, overlapping the trades if you know you're going to have to sit there for a while. It also looks like Paplerr has a singular piece of wool, not enough for even 1 bed. Maybe if they updated the crafting recipe. Just imagine. I mean, it looks stupid and it doesn't make sense, but like if you had to put 1 wool on top of 1 plank and that was a bed, like, would the meta be different? Would it would have for sure been different back then in 1.8, you know? Imagine rocking up to an end fight with like 18 beds instead of 4 or something. Like, big magnitude for Paplerr, and Priffin's already out with 12 eyes. Maybe just, I mean, clutch better strays. I don't even know. It looks like Paplerr was just in such a better position, but maybe having to deal with the Wither Skeletons was just too much. And now we're out of strays, have to play the spawner again. I don't know. It looks like they just play the fort the same way, and Priffin's just ahead by 15, 20, 30 seconds. And I don't know if it's just the confidence, being able to deal with the strays the fastest possible way.
I will say, having to, you know, having to overlap I feel like I've seen Priffin the entire time. Oh, sorry, I've seen Paplerr the entire time loading those chunks, which is going to make the RD. You can't play on 5 RDs consistently, right? So,
Oh, like trying to keep the trades loaded. I
yeah.
see.
So I feel like I've seen, whereas Priffin was just on 5 RD the entire time. So I think that might be definitely a reason why we see a difference in the forward split there. And then also just, I don't know, I guess maybe, I don't know. I mean, it was just, I mean, there's a little bit of variance in the fort in general between the two runners. And it seems like Priffin just played it better and maybe got a little luckier. And here we are.
Yeah, and again, I mean, he's building the second portal as Paplerr is just measuring eyes. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be heading different strongholds. Paplerr doesn't have an inbot on screen for us, but this might be a quick 2-0. No amazing spike for Priffin yet, though. There it is, down mid. That was pretty obvious. Gonna go right. Is it gonna be here? Very quick, solid preemptive nav. Has a 0 eye, but it doesn't really matter. It looks like we have 4 spare pearls. How many beds is this though? 2 beds, 4 anchors. Do you go for the 0? Especially knowing you're so far ahead. I know the anchors just are sometimes a little weird damage wise. Need a pearl clip as well for this health.
Okay.
Wait,
Once again.
looks like we're good. That's some freaky timing. We're good. Not gonna be sending the 0. I don't know if Paplerr can though either, right? Like that does open the door for a little bit of a time save potential, but I just looks like maybe I don't even know what dragon it was, honestly. Priffin never really looked at it, just saw that it was a weird pearl clip. Was a very weird situation with oh my god, skeleton for Paplerr could just be dead here. Has to play so safe, really but doesn't want to, is gonna burn an anchor to hunger reset. That's huge decision.
Wow.
Because if we have to throw any more pearls or lose any more saturation, that's going to be potentially another hunger reset if they're going to want to try to focus the 0. And yeah, look, another pearl has to throw 2 because that one's too high.
Wow.
I mean, and is this even different strongholds? Looks like Priffin coordinates on screen is neg pause and Paplerr's heading neg, but maybe I just can't read the negative. I think maybe I can't read the negative. I'm not sure.
I think this is I'm gonna be very shocked. Yeah, and there's that looks like the turn. I was gonna say very shocked if there's any chance for Paplerr here.
Yeah.
Looks like here Priffin should take the 2-0 so long as he doesn't mess anything up.
Anchors are weird, but not that weird, and we do have 6 explosives, not like 4 or 3 or anything, and it's a clean 4-bed, and that is gonna be it for our first best of 3. Priffin's gonna take it 2-0, and I mean, in both seeds, just ends up being a minute and a half, 2 minutes faster. I mean, has that gap in time, the ranked average time, a minute 22 difference, has the better win rate by 10%, and it showed in the gameplay. And I mean, all these splits, I mean, apart from the overlapped Fortress play from Paplerr, I do like the idea. I do like what he was going for, but I'm not sure if it was a combination of the strays, having to play potentially on higher RD to load the pigs, or again, I mean, Paplerr just being on less food had to hunger reset in the overworld when measuring eyes and the nether. So it's these damage situations that you just, number one, you're taking damage, so you have to eat your food, so that's just slower, right? Especially if you have to play a little safer in the moment. But then having to hunger reset on top of that because of the mistakes, just sort of like a 2-in-1 mistake deal, kind of. Like you take enough damage and then you hit this sort of level of like, wow, that's an extra 15 to 20 seconds that you have to hunger reset, like when you sort of tip over that line. And Paplerr was just tipping over that line in both seeds. Desert Temple seed not getting enough food. Here managing it a little worse. I mean, it also just has to pearl back to the Bastion, take even more damage because of the overlap play. Just a lot of things that add up together and gives Priffin a couple minutes in both seeds, honestly, of time save. And a clean 2-0 gets out of, potentially the scary stage of the bracket. Everything in the round of 8 and on is a best of 5. So, you know, you have one unlucky seed. It's not the end of the world. You kind of have more of a buffer, right? Like
Right.
losing a seed, maybe the first seed in a best of 3, like being put back against the wall, have to win out 2 seeds in a row. Definitely a lot harder task than just being down 1-0 in a best of 5. In addition to the fact that the best of 5, you know, gives a little bit more seed pick expression on picks 4 and 5. You know, you can pick someone's band, you can pick a seed twice. Just gives the runners a little bit more room to work with. So Priffin definitely going to be happy that he has moved on to the quarterfinals, our first quarterfinals participant of today.
Wow.
Exciting stuff, Nerdy. What do you think? Was that what you expected? Anything notable you think? What are
Yeah,
your
I mean, that was clean play from Priffin, I feel like. I mean, there's very, very, very few mistakes throughout the entire game. Just, you know, tiny nitpicks here and there, maybe at best from Priffin. No major mistakes. No messed up, you know, end fights, which is, I believe, where we saw Priffin lose last playoffs. So definitely a good sign there
On
overall.
zeros.
I feel like Priffin to me is looking like a really strong contender, just from the perspective of, you know, I've watched him in these past playoffs, and I just feel like this is the best I've ever seen him play. You know, like I'm very impressed, and I'm excited to see where he goes.